What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I wanted to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I want to break down what's happening with the overall market moving forward, how things are looking involving the markets, and Tesla, what you should be watching for as time progresses. Before we get the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moon, deposit $100, you're guaranteed 7 free stocks. The offer ends very soon in just about 2.5 weeks. So for Tesla right now, you guys can see that Tesla was at this 175 area. We got a little rejection right over here. And then all of a sudden, Tesla retested our 50 EMA before rejecting one more time. And it's actually continuing to fall right now. We're approaching the 168 zone. Tesla is known for having this support at 167.5 to 168, and we are getting closer to that area as Tesla is looking relatively weak compared to the markets. Tesla had some negative news that came out that is kind of overwhelming. Tesla is part of why the share price is dipping the way it is, and the overall market is also kind of turning a bit, so that's somewhat contributing to this price action that we're seeing. So I'll break down more details about this over the next couple of minutes. I first want to talk about some data first. So today's Friday. 30 minutes after the market opened, we had the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Report come out. We had the Michigan 5-year inflationary expectations and all this data. So Kashkari started his speech, and he also questioned if the current rates are going to be applicable to help bring down inflation or not. And then two things worth noting is the 5-year inflationary expectations from Michigan, were 3.1%. That's above expectations. And then we also have the inflationary expectations for the month of May at 3.5%. That's also above what we were forecasting as well. So this kind of shows us that the expectations that inflation is going to go up again amongst consumers. And that's actually a little bit more negative looking at how the market's responding. It's part of why the market kind of dipped a bit. So we will see how this ends up affecting us moving forward. Now, today is May 10th. We have over 400,000 of these calls expiring, and we have over about 637,000 puts expiring with the 1.58 puts to call ratio. Max pain is at 516. So the majority of people have puts right now, but the market's going to dip. We will see if that ends up being the case or not. But so far, that's how things are looking for now. But I just want to make it very clear that the majority of people have these puts. So market makers are currently just holding the market up, at least for now, around 521. And we'll see if we get some kind of rejection or not. But so far, the market is still holding up support. Now, for Tesla, we have some news that came out right over here. Activists have been once again approaching the Gigafactory for Tesla in Germany. This is actually a little bit more negative news for Tesla because once again they were wearing blue baseball caps and face coverings, and they managed to break through the lines of police. As of right now, from what I've seen in reports, they are continuing to stage these protests. I personally support peaceful protesting. I just don't really agree with any violence getting involved. I really hope no one gets hurt. I also hope that nothing too serious happens and there's no vandalism, especially. So, right now, I found that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get inside of the Giga Berlin. I heard that they weren't able to get in so far, but this could be changing because this is still going on as I speak. So we will see if that's what's going to end up happening. So why are they essentially protesting? Basically, Tesla's been seeking permission to expand the German Gigafactory, but locals are voting against it, and they're basically accusing Tesla of polluting local water supplies. Now, people are just continuing their protests against capitalism and car ownership and things like that. They're screaming that Tesla wants profits and things like that. People and nature are just means to an end. Things just like that. So I want to make that very clear. So they do have the right to do this. Of course, I do support peaceful protests, but then if violence gets involved, vandalism, that is something that is not tolerable in my opinion. That is something that should not be happening. But from what I'm seeing, they're trying to get in the Gigafactory. I'm seeing other sources saying that they're continuing to try to breach the factory premises. I found that they haven't gotten in yet, according to some reports. But we'll see if this changes if they do manage to get inside. And if they do, they could cause damage. So I really hope that that does not happen because that would be very negative for Tesla, and I really don't want anyone to get hurt. So I'm still waiting to see if that ends up happening. This is a little bit more negative news for Tesla. We're actually seeing hundreds of people involved, and we can see what else can happen. I'm sorry, it's actually thousands of people who are involved in this, so that's pretty crazy. So we'll see. We'll see how things end up going. There's a lot of people. You guys can see pictures of them. There's a lot of people involved. So we'll see how this ends up going. Tesla also announced their next FSD update. We're looking at the 12.4 version. This is actually still making some headlines, the latest version. But with the next release notes, they're going to be improving Tesla Vision Park Assist, lots of different features like visual updates and such. And this is going to be very, very useful, at least for us moving forward. But that's something I just wanted to mention. More updates are coming, especially when they start to get rid of lots of bugs that Elon Musk was talking about yesterday. Anyways, what's happening to the market right now? The answer is we're showing some weakness right now, especially on Tesla. So we're getting excuse me, all this layoff news about how Tesla's losing some of their key managers. Tesla's laying off more employees. There's been a lot of talk about potentially inflation being hotter for longer. The Fed has been a little bit more stringent about that, especially as we have Cash Card giving a speech. And then there's news about what's going on in Germany with the Gigafactory. All this negative news is coming out for Tesla again. So that's the reason why Tesla kind of popped a bit, hitting 173, coming just short of my 175 target. They're getting a little rejection. Now we're going to be watching 167.5 to 168. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 165. If we hold it, look for a rebound to 170. Now, we do love to bounce off 167.5, so we will see if that support holds us. I'm using the 5-minute time for just to show you guys like more intraday analysis, but we'll just have to wait and see just to be safe how things end up going. So right now, Tesla looks a bit more bearish. Watch support at 168 and 167.5, and we'll see how things change. For SPY, we're also kind of rejecting right here. We formed a bearish divergence. As you can see, we pushed all the way up to about the 522s. But I warned everyone to watch resistance. Okay. I'd said to watch resistance, see if we end up getting rejection or not, because every time we hit 521.5 and 523, SPY did reject historically. And right now we are rejecting. So if you look at SPY, we're barely at this 520 area. We have resistance now at our 200 EMA at 520.5 and then also 521.5. We have support at 520. If we lose this, we could be dipping all the way down. I would say to this zone right here. Well, we have some very tight levels since I'm looking at smaller time frames. But if we lose 520, we could be dipping all the way down to 518. So it's a very long way down. 518.5 is going to be our next target if we lose this support. So we are showing some weakness in my personal opinion. Nvidia also is showing some weakness. As you guys can see, we got this big bearish divergence and another rejection, and we have this gap to fill down here at 889. So I do see Nvidia dipping a little bit more to fill this gap. So it could rebound a bit, retest our 20 EMA, 200 EMA, then start dipping down. That's a strong possibility. For the QQQ, looking kind of bearish. Got this bearish divergence, got a little rejection. We could be looking for a move all the way down towards. So we have resistance at 441. If that breaks, look at the 200 EMA at 441.8 to 442. And if we lose 440, so our support's at 440, lose that, then we have 439, then 437. We are looking a bit more bearish with this bearish divergence and a bit of a rejection. So this could start dipping even lower, and I do see a potential for that to end up happening. For Apple, Apple's also dipping quite a bit right now. We did actually push to 185. I told everyone to watch resistance. If we lose this, we could sink. We did end up losing these two supports. So look at this 182.5 area for some sideways price action. We were shopping here for quite some time. If we lose this 182 zone, look for 181.36, followed by 180. Look at resistance at 182.5, followed by 183.5. Overall, I'm seeing some weakness on the charts, and we might just continue to shuffle at 182.5 and eventually dip lower towards 180. So I'm seeing some weakness right there. Just to be blunt, let me actually use the bigger time frames right now for Amazon just to show you guys something. Amazon's actually showing some weakness right now. We have resistance at 190. We have support at 187. We're kind of stuck in the middle, but I am seeing some signs of contraction as we're approaching 187.5 as support and potentially even lower levels. For Coinbase, it's the same thing. We're also looking a little bit weaker right here. We have 205 as support. If we lose this, we're going to be dipping all the way down to 200, if not lower. And we have resistance at 214, so we are slowing down right here. And then we also have, let me see, Meta. Meta went up to our target. I talked about 478 being tested yesterday. That's exactly where we went to. Now we're rejecting a bit. If we fail to get above 472, we're going to be tipping all the way down to 467 and 464. If we manage to break above 472, we could try to rebound a bit, but overall we're showing some weakness. So I'm seeing signs that we are rejecting a bit. So for SPY, we're barely at 520 right now. We'll see if we reject and lose 520 or not. We're kind of shuffling at 520. So we'll see how it does, but we're seeing some signs of a rejection, a little bit of weakness on the chart right now. Lose 520, we have this gap, not this gap, but more like this important resistance becoming support at 518. That's going to be tested next if we end up losing 520. So just wait and see, guys. With that being said, Tesla's showing weakness. We're approaching 167.5 to 168, which is our support. Lose that, and don't forget about 165 and then 162. But Tesla's looking a little bit weaker right now, so I just want to give you guys a heads up about this. There's a lot of negative news, especially in Germany, so keep that in the back of your mind. I just want to thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day, guys. Thank you, and peace out.